Hi, everyone. This is Christopher, the Director of Voter Engagement here at WEAC for Environmental Justice, and this is our fourth in our video series about how you can participate meaningfully in this year's election for 2020. And in this video, the topic is early voting. This is one of my favorite topics, so let's go ahead and get started. I wanted to sort of go over voting 101, and all I mean by that is there are just three ways to vote. You can either vote by mail, you can either vote on election day, which is November the 3rd this year, or you can early vote. And today we're going to talk about early voting. Early voting, what is it? All it is that you get to vote before November 3rd, thus early. And that's great. And in New York, for those of you that are watching, early voting, sort of the period where you can early vote, is October the 24th through November the 1st. So those are the days of the period by which you can early vote. Now let's talk a little bit about sort of the benefits of early voting. I think there are many, but there are really sort of four. The first is it helps your candidate. So if there is a candidate in mind that you have, that candidate has lots of staff that is trying to get everyone that supports them to the polls. And it's just easier. It helps them sort of bank votes by getting all of us to vote early so that those that they need to really focus on to get out to the polls on election day, particularly sort of those they need to persuade to vote for them for whatever reason, they can focus on those folks during GOTV, which are the days that lead up to November the 3rd. Okay, so you'll help your candidate. The second is you get to avoid super busy lines. Lines can be long. And I want to be clear, your early voting lines will likely, at least this year, be long, but they're not nearly as long as when everyone in the country or in your neighborhood is going to vote on election day. So you want to try to vote early. The third is you do want to help our poll workers. As all of you may know, we are facing a poll worker shortage because this was the community, many of these folks were the ones that were affected by, and unfortunately many of them lost their lives to COVID, okay? And so the more that we can sort of spread out the voting over a period, the easier it is for our poll workers. And we want to make it easy on them since they're the ones that are going to do all the tallying and welcome us to the polls and count absentee ballots and deal with all of those issues as we approach this election season. And then finally, you do want to help yourself, okay? This is an opportunity for you to try, if you've never before, to early vote, which again is no different than voting on election day itself, okay? All right, so those are some of the benefits. All right, so now that you know those are the benefits, how do you do it? The very first thing you want to do is you want to check if you're on the rolls, if you're actually registered to vote. We are going to have a site that I will show you at the end of this video, our WEAC Vote site. I'll say this a lot in our videos, the sort of the WEAC Vote site, where you can check where your early voting polling locations are. And about those polling locations, you want to find your early voting polling location. For those of you that have voted before, the polling location that you have on election day and the early voting one are likely going to be different. Sometimes they are the same, but generally they are not. They're going to be different. And so you want to make sure where that is. And then of course, you just want to go vote once you check those two things. All right, as I said earlier, this is our key site, the WEAC Vote site, weac.org/vote. Here you will find links to sort of where to find your early voting location, the times, all that good jazz. This site also has everything you might need to know about absentee voting. It had information about voter registration, though here in New York, that period is over. It's also going to have information about any COVID regulations that the city of New York and the state of New York pass along that we want to pass along to you if you're going to early vote or vote on election day on November the 3rd. So make sure that you go to that site if you get a chance. All right, everyone, thank you so much. This was Christopher Casey, again, the Director of Voter Engagement here for WEAC for Environmental Justice. I'm so thrilled to be able to bring you the fourth of our video series about how you can make sure that your vote counts. Please make sure that you make a plan to vote, and if that includes early voting, that's great. Go out there and vote for the candidates that you love and the country that you love, and I hope all of you stay safe and well. Thank you so much. Have a good one.